Hi everyone, welcome back to the channel. My name's Mike, this is Build and Tinker, and we're back with the Ford Falcon today, the XBGT Post-Apocalyptic edition from Hachette Models. We're looking at issues 15 through to 18, so we're going to do 4 issues per video from now on. So yeah, 15 to 18. I'm not sure what the bits are, so let's unpack them and see what we have. So this is issue 15, and it's again another short one. We're finishing off the right hand seat. This is the driver's side front seat, and in the last video we put together the main part of the seat bolster, which you can see here, and then the rear, the front part of the seat back. What we're doing today is we're going to add the foam and the rear part of that seat. The foam is like a memory foam type, so it's quite soft, but also firm. So it's quite good. Feels very realistic. It's very easy. This step, really, the foam literally is shaped in a way that makes it obvious how it goes in, and you just drop it into this void here in the seat upright, and then we have a back piece. This is a plastic piece that goes over the top of the foam, and there are 4 screw posts, so you've got to get those lined up. Sorry, they're not screw posts, they're just posts. They just push in. There are no screws to hold the back on. It literally just pushes together. And then we take the 2 halves of the seat here, and we're going to bring them together, and there are screw holes at the base of both sides of the upright. And we just need to first of all line it up with the base of the seat, where the seat brackets are, and then we screw it in with the PS05 screws. They give us 3 of those, so we only need 2. Our trusty Wera screwdrivers, and we simply insert a screw through each of these centers here in the bracket into the upright. And with both those screws in place, we now have the 2 halves of the seat attached to each other, and that really is all we're doing with that issue. So very quick and easy. And that's one completed seat. It doesn't have a frame yet, but we do have the seatbelt buckle on one side and the lever on the front. And again, quite a nice finished piece. So we're just going to set that to one side, along with the engine that we completed before, and we've got one wheel here. There is another one somewhere. We've got boxes of car parts everywhere. It's a really nice article actually in this issue 15 about a UK Ford, which is the Mark 1 Ford Escort RS2000, which was something, as I grew up, that was a car that I really aspired to own. Never did, but worth quite a lot of money these days. So we'll move on to issue 16. Issue 16 is the beginning of the other door. So we did the driver's side door in the past, and now we're doing the passenger side. So again, this is a metal piece and it's painted, so we want to be really careful to keep the paint in good condition. So I'm going to leave the tissue paper underneath it. We have the door panel itself, this piece of sticky back felt, which is for protecting the window. We also have the mirror housing, mirror glass, well, the mirror glass back, the sticker for the glass itself, a door handle, a door lock, and some screws. You have 3 types of screw there. Now this car featured in a movie, although it's not mentioned anywhere, we all know it did. And apparently in that movie it didn't feature a passenger side wing mirror. I need to confirm this 100%. However, we're going to fit the mirror regardless, because if we don't, we're going to be left with a big hole in the top of the door, and I'm not skilled enough to fill and paint that in a way that no one would notice. So we will fit the mirror. It's not our first step, however. The first step for this phase is to fit this piece of sticky back felt. It goes along the top of the door. Let's get this out of the way so you can see. It goes along the top of the door strip here, and it's purely to help protect the window plastic from getting scratched. So we just need to remove the backing, start one end, and we're positioning it so it doesn't sit proud of the door. We don't really want to see it, but we just want it to be there. And we're going to run that all the way along to almost the front. It almost reaches the front. There or thereabouts. And there we have it. The next stage is to assemble this wing mirror. So we have the wing mirror housing, which is here. And then we have the sort of there's this plate here that the mirror sticker is going to adhere to. That has a little post on the back of it. It's exactly the same as the driver's side one we did several issues ago, and we just push fit one into the other. I just need to be able to see it so that the post goes into the little receptacle inside the housing, which is quite hard to see because it's dark in there and everything is black. But there we are, push fit, really easy. And then we need to put the sticker on, which may or may not have been easy to have done before we fitted it, but who knows. There we go. So you do have to get this the right way around. It is shaped, but it's pretty obvious which way it goes. So we'll just start one end, stick it down, manage to get it slightly wonky. I always do. And on top of that is a clear film which we can gently peel off, and then it becomes a bit more reflective. There we go. One shiny mirror. And then the mirror needs to be attached to the door. Very simply pushes through a slot in the top of the door there, and that will line it up perfectly with a screw hole on the other side. And we use a DS02 for that. Do I have any spares? No, I don't. Okay. Need to remagnetize my screwdriver, but it came with a handy magnetizer. So that's the mirror attached, and then the next piece is a little bit fiddly. It's the door lock, so it's a sort of fake door lock, and that needs to be inserted into this hole here beneath the door handle aperture, and it will only go in one way up. It's got a stud on the back. Well, it looks like it'll only go in one way up. It has a stud on the back and it's not round. I can't quite see what side the flat is on. Okay, so the flat is towards the edge of the door. So the flat piece here, it needs to face the edge of the door, otherwise it won't go on. Oh, and that went in very easy. So that's good. And then to stop it falling out, the PS12 screw goes in behind it, hold it in place. Now these are really, really tiny. And it has already fallen out. So let's try that again. There we go. This Vera PH0 screwdriver is really good because it covers almost every size I've found as I'm building, except for maybe some of the super big ones. And all that leaves is the door handle, which again pretty straightforward to fit, can only go in one way, and it drops in to that aperture there, and we just hold it in place with one finger because we need to use a PS38 screw to stop it falling out. And with the door handle attached, we're complete. I do need to think about how I'm going to store this, because obviously I don't want any of this paint scratched, and we're probably a long way from attaching it to a car. So I'll pop it over there for now. That's issue 16 finished. Issue 17 is continuation of the door with the addition of the window. You make sure you get all the bits out. The hinge and then the window gears. So I've gone and retrieved a piece of foam, which I like to use these whenever I'm working on bodywork, particularly if it's going to be face down. And we're going to put the door panel face down on the foam because we need to fit some of the window regulator parts. So let's unpack everything first. So we start with this piece here, 17G, which actually attaches to the door with the post uppermost, and it sits over this. There's a shaped piece cast into the door, so it's very obvious where it goes, and a single DS02 screw holds that in place. And then after that we take the window itself. And that sits over the top of the sliding parts. There's some standoffs here which that sits on top of. And then we put this piece here, 17H, goes straight over the top. Now again, we need to get it the right way up. The diagrams in the magazine are incredibly clear. And having put that on top there, again we need a PS05 screw. And that goes here. And we should be able to move the window up and down freely, which we can. And now we take the metal piece here, which is part of the hinge, and with the angled elements facing down, so it has a flat side and an angled side, we put we drop it into this groove on the end here. It wants to fall out. There we go. And this spring plate then sits over the top on there's a couple of studs and then there's a screw hole, so again drops into place pretty easy, and a DS04 screw holds it in place. Again, now I've actually got one of those spare from previously, so I'm going to use that up. I think it was from the other door. And just check that we've got movement of the hinge, which we do. And now we need to start installing the gears. So there's one very small gear, that's pretty obvious where that one goes. Well, it's very easy to identify, should I say. It sits here closest to the window itself. That's the one that actually engages in the teeth on the flat gear. Will be a rack technically, I think. And then another DS04 screw is used. Go straight down through the middle of the gear. This would suggest I've got the gear upside down. Have I? Yeah. You want to get it the right way up, otherwise there's no space for the screw. There we are. We'll do them up tight to start with and then make sure they move freely. Yeah, that's fine. What you don't want to do is do them up so tight nothing turns, but that's fine. And then we have the larger gear in the middle with the flat side up, and that has another DSO4 screw. And then the final gear with the post side up, there's a post that sticks out of it, and then that uses a different screw. That takes a DS17, which is here. So before we tighten that up, we've actually just per chance put it the right way around anyway. There's a cutout in this post, and they want it facing sort of down and towards the corner of the door here, which conveniently is what I did. I'll pretend it was deliberate. And that's with the window. Well, they've got it in that half up position, so I'm not quite sure. We might need we might need to be prepared to just adjust that gear later, but we'll check that when we put the door card in, which I presume is going to be quite soon. But that's the end of stage 17. So we're getting through them quite quick today. Put our spare screws to the side, but we keep them. They're not as easy to keep the Hachette ones, because once you open the bags you can't reseal them. The fan home ones are nice and resealable, but get yourself a pill box or a screw box and keep hold of those. You will need them. So issue 18 is, as we suspected, the interior of the door. It's the door card and trim. Another great article in this magazine about British cars is one dedicated to the Jaguar XJ. I've never had a Jaguar XJ. I've had a couple of Jags though. I've had XFR and I've currently got an F-Type R. But a wonderful brand that I really love, and unfortunately seems to have disappeared. But anyway, let's get building, and we'll see what we have. So we have a door card, some more screws. I'm going to have to open this with some scissors. A trim piece, chromed trim piece, and the interior door handle. These pieces are quite fragile, so do be careful with them. And we start by actually assembling the door handle. Well, you couldn't see those before. Let me put them where you can see them. So there's the trim piece. There's the door handle and the handle recess. They're very, very small, and we have to put them together. So we start with, there's a hole in the handle recess, and then there's a little stud on this handle, and you just have to push one into the other. Really hard to show you that as I'm doing it, but especially with my chubby fingers. So there we go. So that's the handle in place. And then that's going to sit into this recess here in the door card. Again, it can only go in one way. There's a screw stud that goes through a hole in the card, and we need a PS14 screw. So one of those goes in through the back, so we'll just hold that in place while we put the screw in. Again, all plastic pieces, so you don't need to screw them up tight at all. And then we put the whole door card straight over the top of the door here, making sure we line everything. Again, pretty easy. Let's just see if... Okay, the window's still operating, so happy with that. And we have 3 screws to hold this all in place. They are DS02. And they go one here, just below that door handle we just installed. One at the very bottom in the middle. and one over there. So that's all 3 screws in, and then the last piece is this trim. It pushes into place with 3 very thin studs, so again, just be careful. Also get it the right way round. So there's holes either end, and there's one just off center, so you have to, it will only go in one way, so just look for the holes first, line up the pin on one end without pushing it in too far. Make sure the others sort of just start to sit into place, and just gently push it in behind each of the pins, and it will go in without too much argument. If you're pushing it hard, then you've probably not lined it up properly. And that's it, issue 18. So it didn't really take long to complete 4 issues today in the video, which is why I'm doing 4 at a time now. And we are very close to having a finished door. Needs a bit of a polish. Let's see if I can get an angle that makes better sense. There we go. So there is the finished door, covered in fingerprints. We'll give it a polish later. With the handle, it's got this really nice matte black detailing on the bottom that's painted on, which is quite cool. It does look really grubby on camera. It actually doesn't look as bad in real life, but that is just needs to be wiped off. It's mostly fingerprints, there's no scratches. And that's the door card. And again, our window goes up and down. There will be a regulator handle to install at some point. But that's everything for today's video. So we've got 2 doors, 2 wheels. The other one's in a box somewhere. 1 seat, the engine, and a few other bits assembled. Really looking forward to getting a chassis built so we can start attaching all of this. But it is early days. So I hope you enjoyed the video. I'm enjoying the build. I hope you're enjoying yours too. And thank you so much for watching. Please subscribe if you haven't already. Because most of my viewers don't, and it'd be really useful to me if people were to click that button, because it helps with channel promotion and it doesn't cost you anything. So have a great week, take care, and see you next time.